Hi, I'm Fiona and I'm just going to do a little video for you to show you what lunchtime yoga at MCY is all about. So first of all, into a seated position. It doesn't have to be cross-legged, anything that's comfortable for you. So thinking about the tailbone going down to the floor, resting the hands, closing the eyes, gently closing the eyes, or if you really don't like closing the eyes, just taking the gaze down the nose to keep your gaze in on your mat. Coming to your natural breath, in through the nose and out through the nose. Steady, easy breath. Just taking this moment to relax the forehead, relax the cheekbones, relaxing the jaw, lengthening in the nape of the neck. So with the next inhale, opening up the collarbones and then letting the shoulder blades melt down the back. And just doing this a few more times if you need to. Just focusing on that lovely natural breath. Working your way down the spine. Letting the hips settle and release. Okay, softening the fingers, the toes, the hands, the feet, the arms and the legs. And then maybe, still with your eyes closed, maybe get a little bit more of length to the breath. So think about lengthening the inhale and also the corresponding exhale. Just getting it that bit longer. Slowing it down just a little bit. And also while you're here, thinking about picking up with your root lock, think of your pelvic floor or Rula Bandha, and pulling in with the lower belly. And I find a good thing to do is that as you exhale, and then before you start to, just as you pick up that inhale, just pick it up if you've lost it. That's a good way to get it back each time that you lose it. So just picking up, we'll say root lock and that lower belly lock, just pulling it in and coming back to this all through your practice. Still keeping that lovely steady breath. Just relaxing and releasing the body. Okay, so opening the eyes. So first of all, just start to take some shoulder rolls. Just do what you need to do to ease off in your shoulders. Start to get some movement into the body. And then taking the fingers behind the back. Think about opening the collarbones, getting some lift up through the front of the body and working the shoulder blades back together. So keep the neck long. And if the shoulder blades are working together and your neck is long, then you can take your head and look up at the ceiling. But if there's any discomfort in the neck, then just stay looking ahead. Just taking a nice little baby back bend there. Okay, inhale to come up. So now you're wanting that C shape with the spine. So think about pulling that belly back, loosely holding onto the fingers. Keep those shoulders soft down the back. And just take that C shape. Letting the head relax. Okay, from here, start to walk your fingers forward. Again, taking as many moves as you like to ease the body down to the floor. So you may be up here on your fingertips, you may be on your elbows, but wherever you are, just let the head hang. So breathing there. Okay, so coming to one side, you can either stretch your hands out or just take the twist, coming down. Again, letting the head be heavy. And coming back up. And yep, you've guessed it, walking around to the other side. Taking a nice, easy little twist this side. Okay, coming back into centre, then coming down into your child's pose. So you can have the knees together, you can have them apart, just finding something that works for you. But first of all, just rocking side to side, and it really helps to ease the hips back. Coming into your child's pose, and you can have your fists stacked to support the head. Taking the breath to the place in between the shoulder blades, the upper back. So getting ready to bring in some movements while we're down on the mat. So settle on an exhale, and as you inhale, lifting up with the arms, taking a few breaths there. And keeping that length to the body, take it all the way down to the mat. Pressing into the hands, come up and over onto the belly. Then setting yourself up for Sphinx. So the shoulders are underneath, sorry, they're not, the elbows are underneath the shoulders. Bring the hands out. And again, really opening the collarbones and letting the shoulders work down the back. Pulling up with the thighs. And making sure that your head isn't, you're not crunching your neck, so you can either look down at the floor or look ahead. Okay, so bring the hands back under the shoulders, pushing into that nice long child's pose. Then from there, coming up to your tabletop. So this time we're going to really push the hands into the floor and dome the centre of the back, which is in between the shoulder blades, up to the sky. And so you're also wanting to take that posterior tilt with the pelvis, looking up with your root clock and that lower belly. And breathe in there. Keep that breath going. And then stretching out again, but taking the hands into prayer and bringing them so that they're either the back of the head or the back of the neck. Really pressing the elbows into the floor, and think about drawing your armpits forward and together. So again, rising up, inhale, lift, exhale, floating forward. This time, inhale, come up to the knees, taking the elbows shoulder width apart and taking the hands into prayer. So letting the head drop, and you're wanting to really pull in with that lower belly and take that, again, take that posterior tilt with the pelvis. So you've got everything stable there, and then starting to take your head through, starting to lengthen in the arms. So you're working on your shoulders here. Breathe there. So making sure that the chest isn't falling down to the floor. Stay lifted in the back. Okay, coming out of the pose and coming back to that child's position. Again, taking the hands behind the head in prayer. Then bring the hands forward, come into that tabletop, and then again really pulling that lower belly in. Just really round that knee into the chest and hold it there. Keep on breathing. Bring it out and down. I'm going to the other side. Okay, bring the knees back down. So coming into child's pose now. Take the big toes together, take the knees wide, and just come down to the floor. Again, you can support your head however you want to. Just easing out some nice, easy breaths. From here, we're going to come into Surya Namaskara A type sun salutation. So coming to stand at the front of the mat, feet together, coming up nice and easily to the front. Okay. Settle on an exhale. Inhale to lift the arms, placing the palms together, look up at the thumbs. Little bend in the knees as you exhale to take your forward fold. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale to take your feet back. Now I'm going to go through the knees all the way on this first one, just in case there's people watching that haven't done this before. Take the knees to the mat. Really hold in that lower belly, come all the way down and come into an upward facing dog or a baby cobra. Tuck the toes under, you can come by the knees, and so you can come into a puppy dog, keeping the knees down, or you can come into your downward facing dog or downward dog with knees bent. And if you want to here, you can ease out by walking on the spot, just easing out anything that needs. Okay, so bringing yourself to the front of the mat. If the knees are down, use your hand as support and start to bring the leg forward using one hand on the back of the leg, joining it with the other one, looking up. Exhale to take the nose to the knee. Inhale, rising all the way up, Samasthiti. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press in, look up. Exhale, taking your feet back, coming down through your chaturanga. Taking your upward facing dog, then exhale to this time a static down dog. Feet are hip width apart. Sending the heels in the direction of back and down. So inhale and exhale here for 1, 2, remembering you can bend the knees or come into puppy dog if you need. 4, 5. Again, bringing the legs to the front of the mat. And again, if you don't get all the way, just grab that foot. You can do caterpillar toes to get you there. Join it with the other one. Exhale to take the nose to the knee. Inhale, rising all the way up, coming to Samasthiti. Then taking the right foot over, plant it in the ground, lift up with the arms and the fingers up to the sky. And if you want to, you can take a little bend to the side, but I like to keep a nice length in the waist. Okay, so taking the arm down, take the leg back to Samasthiti. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, press in, look up. Exhale, taking your feet back, coming down through your chaturanga. Inhale to your upward facing dog. Exhale, down dog. So really planting the hands, spreading the fingers, taking those shoulder blades down the back. Keep a steady inhale and exhale. For 3, 4, 5. Little bend to the knees. Bring the feet towards the front of the mat. Chest is lifted. Exhale to fold. Inhale, rising all the way up. Going to Samasthiti. So the other foot this time, bring it over. Plant that foot. And if you find you get a bit wobbly, you can always take the foot out to the front a bit to press into. And lifting the arm up. Take that shoulder blade down. Take the fingers up to the sky. And if you want to take the wee side bend, you can. Keeping that breath going. Okay, floating it down, coming back to standing. So we're going to be taking it down to the mat, but with the vinyasa. Inhale to lift, exhale fold, inhale press in, look up, exhale taking your feet back, coming down the mat to your chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, exhale, down dog, and then just come to the knees. So first of all, sitting in, kneeling, but if sitting and kneeling doesn't suit you, then please sit cross-legged or however else works for you. So just taking the arms, floating the arms out to the side. And we're taking rotation, taking inward rotation, outward rotation, in and out. So while you're doing this, you're really thinking of working as far up as you can. And personally, I like to use my thumb as a driver to actually, so everything's like following the thumb. Let's keep going. And then you can actually just get a little bit, bringing the shoulders, whole of the shoulder back and the back and the chest into it. Okay, so just shaking that off, taking a few more shoulder rolls or whatever you need to do, just whatever works for your body to ease off. And then we're going to come round to Dandasana. So if you've ever been to my class, you'll know that all roads lead to Dandasana. I like it, it works for me. So taking the hands either side, really getting that tailbone rooting right down into the mat. Think about that root block pulling up, pulling in with the lower belly, and you're wanting those upper legs to roll towards each other. Feet are flexed. So although it looks like you're just sitting, you are actually doing quite a lot here. The drishti, the gaze point, is to the toes. So breathing in and out there. Go into that steady, even breath. Okay, so from here, taking the right leg, keeping the other leg straight, press the foot into the floor, so crossing it over, knee bent, really press the foot into the floor, lifting up your root lock, pulling in the lower belly, taking the opposite hand to the bent knee. So as you inhale, make sure you're getting nice and level on those sit bones and you're getting that lovely upward lift. And then exhale to take your twist. And this is a point, if you want to, you can take your eyes over your shoulder while you're there. Steady breaths. Okay, coming back to center, bringing the feet back out to Dandasana, and going to the other side, so bending the knee, bring the foot over, press it into the floor, really get it active. And when you press down, you can really lift up with the root lock while you're there. Hug in the knee, get nice and stable on both sit bones, get the tailbone working into the floor, pull up with the root lock, and take the twist to the other side. Again, looking over the shoulder with the eyes. Remembering to keep the foot flexed on the straight leg. Okay, come back to the center. And so just take a few windscreen wipers to ease everything off. And then from here, we're going to come down onto our backs. So we're going to roll back, but I want you to really think about using everything to keep you from just flopping down. So you may want to hold on behind the knees to start with, or take the hands down to the floor, or you're building up the strength to come down vertebrae by vertebrae, or you might just want to come down. Bending the knees. We're going to do just 2 of bridge. But pressing the feet into the floor. The feet are hip width, toes going forward. So first we'll take the back of the head to the floor, lift the chest, and then wiggle those shoulder blades down. Okay. So we're going to just roll up and down with the spine to start with. So settle on the exhale. As you inhale, press the feet into the floor. Start to peel the tailbone off. And just take it vertebrae by vertebrae. Send the knees forward. Think about almost like as if you're trying to squeeze the knees together. And then when you come up to your furthest point, just breathing there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So rolling down vertebrae by vertebrae, one at a time, nice and slow. So eventually the waist is pressing into the floor, and then start to take the tailbone down. Okay, so taking a breath there. And so the next one, we'll just come up. So press the feet into the floor, settle on the exhale. As you inhale,
send the knees forward. Really use these thighs, almost like rolling them in towards each other, and just coming up to your highest spot in your bridge. And if you want to work the shoulders underneath, clasp the hands, send the arms nice and straight, so sending the hands down to sort of nice and long, if you know what I mean. Breathe there. Coming back to that steady breath that sees you all the way through the practice. Okay, so again, calming down with control. So now's the point you can hug your knees into the chest or ease off, do whatever you need to do. And from here, you're going to keep the backside down on the floor, but still pulling in with that lower belly, so that so that the back's not arching off. Taking the legs up into the air, nice and straight. So legs up in the air. If you've got the space, you can take your legs up against the wall. Or also, if you're minded, you could actually use this time to come into your shoulder stand, your Savangazana. Start to just release the breath, start to slow the breath down at this point. Okay, hugging the knees in, and then getting ready for your Shavasana. So bringing the legs down, just taking them a little bit away from the body and the arms as well. Coming to rest on the floor, but also if your lower waist is lifting up away from the floor, bend the knees and let them drift in towards each other for support. So again, eyes gently closed, or if you don't like closing your eyes, just looking down the nose to keep the gaze within the mat. So staying in this position, just start to soften the breath till you come back to your natural breathing. Start to feel the body softening. Then thinking about the weight of the body being held by the floor. And just imagine that instead of on your mat, you're on a beach. So your body is being cocooned by the sand, that warm sand that shifts and molds to hold the body. So enjoying the lovely sensation of the body melting into the sand. But also the waves are coming into the shore. So every inhale, just think about the waves coming towards you up the beach. And on the exhale too, think about the waves drawing away again out to sea. So the inhale is the waves coming up the beach, exhale waves going back out to sea. And of course it's warm and the sun is shining. So I'll leave you to stay with this peaceful image until you're ready in your own time to come up to sitting and finish your practice. Thank you for joining me today.